was beautiful. Thank you, Colette. What a beautiful, strong voice. Is that good, Phil? Okay. We're trying out different mics today. Sounds like we're having some sound challenges, so just bear with us. As we align our service today with the internet, and we align ourselves to awaken to our oneness, knowing that Spirit is our source. And it keeps us in that divine good, supplying all that we require. I'm going to switch back. And so as we share the joy and let our light shine, we know that we are uplifting the wisdom and love from our inner selves and sending it out into the world. And so this is the law of circulation, and it's always operating because it's part of the universal spirit of life. And so, as part of all that, the true gifts of Christmas is that giving and receiving of our spiritual wisdom, of those enduring values, the transformation that occurs along the unfoldment of our individual spiritual paths, with the realization of what and who we really are and why we are here today. You know, in the Christmas story, I'm going to pick up where the Magi see the star, right? Because that's right before the gifts come in. And so that star is that spiritual aspiration that we're all searching for on our journeys. Because I don't think I'm the only one searching. I think every being on this planet is searching for that spiritual unfoldment of good. Because we spend so much time surrounded in the chaotic thoughts and darkness that we know that there's a different way, there's a better way of being and of living. We're just not quite sure how to get there. Or am I the only one that's like that? So the Magi follow this star, which is really about leading us to that indwelling Christ consciousness and the power that we receive through our own realization of the connectedness, of the oneness. It's through that oneness with God and all creation, or whatever name you call God, Spirit, Mother, Father, Holy Spirit, Allah. It doesn't matter. What matters is the connection, because that's where the transformation takes place. So we have this star rising in the east, And we all know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, correct? And so that's the life-giving light, the primordial light of our inner spiritual realm. And that's important. If you don't get anything else, know that rising of light, that rising of wisdom and knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is what saves us. If anything saves us, we actually save ourselves through the transformation and the growth, releasing the fear, putting that next step forward, even when we're afraid, when we're scared, when we don't understand why. Why is there so much chaos? Why is there so much darkness today? Why is there so much unrealistic expectations in life? What is that all about? So that's the beginning of where we're at today. We're at in the light. And we affirm the light of God reveals my potential. So why don't you affirm that with me? The light of God reveals my potential. Because your potential from yesterday may not be the potential for today or for tomorrow. And it's not that your potential from yesterday wasn't good, because it was, and it brought you to this moment today. And today's potential will lead you to tomorrow's bliss. And so again, let us affirm together, the light of God reveals my potential. Because that's our gifts. That's what we're here to share. Whatever it looks like for you. Some people have a beautiful voice. Some people are very talented at playing the piano, orchestrating music, technology. Whatever it is that you're here in this moment to do, be real about it. Acknowledge and realize the gift of the moment. Because none of us knows when this life for us in this physical presence is done. Just as Jesus didn't know when he was born that there was going to be this horrific death and resurrection. Even though prophecy said it, he hadn't realized it yet. None of us know. But we do know that we are here to make a difference. We are here to grow on our own individual path. And to grow collectively in consciousness for humanity. And so as the wise men arrive at the manger, they give a gift of gold. They give a gift of frankincense and a gift of myrrh. And what these are inner resources that open to the Christ child and to you and to me if we're willing to use them. But we have to be willing and open and ready to use our gifts, whatever they are. The gift of gold in humanity symbolizes that enduring wealth of humanity, right? Everybody wants gold, sometimes almost to the point of greed. We can't hang on to it. We can't hang on to the materialistic world. We have to let it flow in and flow out. Because if we try to hoard it, then we are stifling our own process and growth. We don't have any space to take anything new in if we are living in that state of not enough. Be it physical manifestation of things, be it our emotional state being not enough, our thought process about our own self-worth, whatever that looks like. You know, there are many wars fought over this false wealth, this gold. We have to move from that carnal consciousness of darkness into the inner light, that spiritual consciousness of wisdom. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder at Unity, said, "Gold represents our true wealth, our spiritual gifts, the riches of spirit, and the consciousness of the omnipresent riches of substance." That spiritual wisdom, the inner voice of God that leads us each and every moment through each and every decision of our life. It's that knowing. When you get that gut feeling, you know what to do. And sometimes you follow it, and sometimes you don't. And if we don't, then what usually happens, or what's happened in my life, is that I'm going to get redirected really fast. And it might, or really slow. And if it's slow, it's a long agony process, a process of agony for me. And if it comes really fast, some people call it like that cosmic 2x4, not really something I want to experience again. It's not a happy place to be. But we do have to be redirected on our path. We do have to make a different choice sometimes. And that choice is to move into that higher expression of ourselves, that higher expression of being. That's what spiritual wisdom is all about. It's what oneness is. It's what love is. You know, love is that highest vibration in the universe. Fear is on the opposite spectrum. We want to live from that higher perspective. And so today I want us to affirm again for spiritual wisdom. And the affirmation is, spiritual wisdom guides me to express my higher self. So can you affirm that with me together? Spiritual wisdom guides me to express my higher self. That is our goal. That is why we're here. to be that higher self. Because the higher self tends to find compassion and understanding for those who may not be there in that higher consciousness yet. We know that we love everyone, no matter who they are on this journey. We might not like what they do, we might not like what they say, but we love them anyways. Because that's why we're here, is to radiate that center of love throughout all humanity. That's a gift. One of the other gifts is frankincense, which we all know is a resin from a tree. I don't know if you know this or not, but it's not native to Palestine or Persia, where the Magi came from. It's imported. It's also extremely valuable and expensive, and the only incense burned that we know of on the temple altar of Jerusalem. And the burning of incense releases the energy from that solid form to that vapor smoke. And what that represents is that transmutation from a slower consciousness, and what sometimes in unity we call that atom consciousness, that carnal consciousness, to that higher vibration of consciousness. So we're moving from that lower state of being into that higher state of being. And we're doing it in the presence and through the power of spirit. In silent prayer, we are communing with spirit. And that inner voice changes our perspective, our outlook on our truth and who we are, and on the world outside of us. And so as we come into that state of holiness, which is the presence of spirit, and through that transformation of the burning of the frankincense, we let go of some of that materialistic, egocentric thinking and focus on spiritual concerns. The holy of the holiest. That's who we are. Not all of us remember that. And some of us remember it and we push it away. But we are the voice of spirit. We are the hands and feet and expression. And at this time of year, in the rebirth, think of how the world could be if we all joined together from that higher state as love. Which brings us to the third gift, which is also a tree resin. It's used in ointments, perfume, embalming fluid back in the ancient times. It's a symbol for attracting love. peace and bliss. And because it's associated as a perfume, that love is very powerful. It's a very powerful symbol. Even the use of it as an embalming process symbolizes that eternal love from Spirit. We are never alone in any of this. Just as in the Christmas story, we remember that Christ is the eternal image of God, of Spirit. And even through the challenges of life, as our way shower showed us through his own challenges of a crucifixion, there is a resurrection. There is a resurrection of new life. And that new life comes in as we give and receive love. And so today, as we affirm one more time, let us affirm together, through the Christ in me, I am an expression of divine love. I give and receive love. Together, through the Christ in me, I am an expression of divine love. I give and receive love. Spiritual wisdom allows us to continue the search, to follow the star. And with spiritual wisdom, we can recognize the enduring values, like the gold, or the transformative power of the frankincense, and the internal attraction of the myrrh as the powerful attributes of the Christ. That Christ that is within you, that carries you to your higher self, that carries me to my higher self. We each have these attributes. We each have these gifts. And when we use them wisely, the opportunities are endless for humanity and for ourselves. Spiritual wisdom can alert us to that potential danger or our egocentric thoughts, right? When we get that gut feeling or we get that dream that wakes us up and says, whoa, wait a minute. Let us return to that state of peacefulness. Allowing that wisdom to bring us back to that spiritual consciousness, that higher self. Each of us walks on the spiritual journey called life. And no matter when or where you begin on this journey, to follow Spirit. Commit to your own growth, your own transformation. Change happens as change happens. Remember to rest along the way, because that allows for our new thoughts and new actions to unfold as we continue to rise our consciousness and be the examples for others to rise theirs. Because we're all on this journey looking and searching for that love, for that peace, for bliss. And as you continue this journey, I love you, I bless you, I behold the living presence of the Christ in and through you. So it is. Namaste.